Okay, so I thought I would show you how to do a little bit of mapping, at least my way of mapping. It's by far not the only way to do it, but it's just the way I've learned to do it. So this is the model I chose to do it with. This is the Kaos 60 that I made quite some time ago. There's some different things going on with this model. The fuselage is fairly simple, but there's extra geometry and things that are hidden within. You see here in real flight, that's the one that has all the interior ribbing and everything on the wings that show. So there's extra things to be mapped. So let's see. So first off, this plane's already mapped, and map for something like this, when finished, should look something like this. Let's make that large. This whole mass of junk in this whole area here is all the different wood that's showing. It's it oriented it different ways so that the wood grain would run correctly down each type of wood, and it's spread over different areas, so you don't see the same repeating wood texture all over everything. So since this one's mapped already, I'm just going to jump over to another one I've already prepared. I cleared the mapping, and I got rid of the engine because I'm not going to be mapping the engine for this. And I'm quite sure I'm not going to get this to end up exactly like the original. It's really just I don't even know if I'll complete the whole thing here. It's just kind of a tutorial on how to map. So first thing you don't want to do is, I usually start with the fuselage, and it's a good thing to note that we'll be mapping probably the left half of the plane here, and copying things over. So I'll map one wheel, and that'll be all three wheels. Alright, so first thing I want to do, I'm going to get rid of this grid, and I'm going to right click and hide everything but this fuselage. So we got the fuse here, and to get mapping you want to start by going to unwrap UVW, and I open the editor right away. You'll see that all the parts are up here. Now it's probably important to know, let me show this, so let's just delete that first. If you were to be working on this model and you have anything selected here, if you have a selection type selected, and you go down and add your map, you'll notice that nothing's going to show up here for it. It's not really going to map. This little bit of stuff is all it's showing. The rest of the fuselage is missing. So the reason why is because we have, in this below section, we have it in polygon mode. You can go back and deselect that and come back, and now you see everything's back. So remember that that's an important thing to remember there, that if nothing's showing up, you probably have something in the editable poly active. Okay, so a lot of what I do here with mapping is done with just the regular quick planar mapping, and what that means is, make this window a little smaller. If you picture like a movie projector that's projecting onto a screen, that's what's going on with the projection map here. You can see that since I only have this single poly selected, the single poly face, that's as wide as that projection is. So it's only going to pay attention to what you have selected. And much like a light, if you can imagine light being projected onto a rounded surface, at some point, some part of that surface will become perpendicular to that projection. Okay, guess I just got changed to Windows Basic. Arrow got shut down. Anyways, so as it wraps around that surface, some of the surface will become perpendicular to it. Therefore, in the projection, it's going to become compressed, so that the top and bottom edges will be right on top of one another on those polys that are perpendicular. So while choosing faces, you're going to want to choose only faces that this projection screen, this projection display that they're showing you here, can actually see. And as long as I'm selecting faces that are basically on the same plane together, you'll see that it stays relatively flat. But as you get into more of the curved sections, it's going to start to bend or tilt that projection plane, and that's showing you that it's having a harder time reaching those areas. Now, that's not to say we can't continue on and select more, but you know, there's a way around that at the end here, and I'll show you how to do that. So if we were just to select this, and we can come over here, and I'm in 2012. I don't know how well it's going to work if you're in an earlier version, because things were completely changed for this version. But they do have this. They have this quick planar map icon right here. And if you do a quick planar map, you'll see here in the window, when you click this button, it takes that selection and it's projecting what it's seeing here directly into the 1 to 2. So if I were to do that, I'd come around here and I'd grab the top and I'd project that, and I'd grab this side and project that, and the bottom, the same thing. But these edges here that are there for a rounded effect, those would have to be mapped separately, and carrying your graphics across the whole fuselage would be pretty clunky if you did it that way. So what I'm going to do is, this isn't going to be completely correct here, but I'd like to grab actually both of these edges here and map those to the side. So I have everything selected. I could just continue on and keep selecting, or I can hit plus twice since I want the next 2 rows. And I grab those next 2 rows, but I'm also grabbing things like the inside of this cylinder here, the bottom of that I don't want. So I'm just going to hold Alt, and I'm going to deselect these faces. And don't let anybody fool you, there's nothing that's not tedious about mapping. At some point you'll be doing face by face selection or deselection just like this. If you don't end up doing anything like this, then please make a tutorial. I'd love to follow it, because it does get a bit tedious at times. Alright, so I'm going to continue deselecting the unwanted areas. That's kind of far away, but it'll work. Okay, that's that in there. All these faces here need to be deselected, obviously. Now what you should see is some of these faces here, especially this last row of polys, are a lot more perpendicular to this plane that they're displaying. So what you can end up with is a compressed edge once we hit planar map again. So you just want to give it one more once around, make sure that we're just getting those faces that we want. Okay, that looks good. Another good thing to note here before I hit the planar map is this green is marking seams, and since we had done an original planar map here of just these inner polys, we're getting a seam showing in green. And that's quite a big seam too. As you get getting really close, it gets really difficult to see. So I like to go to thin map seams, which is down here under configure, and it just makes it a little nicer. It's not really important. Obviously you don't have to do that, but something I like to do. Okay, so we've got that selected. Let's hit quick planar map and see what happens here. I'll make this a little larger. Zoom in. And quick planar. And now you see it's thickened up. And as we get in closer, you can see this face here, which is actually equal in size on the actual model is pretty compressed here. So one way we can do that when we still have these faces selected, we're going to go up here to Tools and Relax, and then we're going to change this here to Relax by Face Angles and Start Relax. Okay, so now we're getting horrible results. I'm going to Control Z that. I'm going to take the iterations down. Let's see if that helps at all. Wow, it's really twisting it up. Okay, let's see, Control Z. Let's keep dropping it. This should be working just perfectly, but it just doesn't seem to want to. It's just twisting it up. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to have to go old school with this, I guess. Say Control Z. I was hoping that this would work for this. This is something that I didn't do with it at the time. Man. There we go. Now we got it. Okay. Now, you see me change this to checker pattern. I probably should have mentioned that when I did it. Up here in the top corner, even though it says checker pattern already, you're going to want to come down and select it again. And now this will put a temporary mapping that makes it easy to see what's going on with your current piece or your current island or whatever you want to call it. So what I like to do is to enlarge this piece, and when you enlarge the piece, you make it envelop a lot more of the squares. So therefore you're going to see a lot more of the fine distortions that you usually wouldn't see until later. But everything here is looking pretty good, actually. You see there's some stretching here, and stretching occurs when in the faces here there's actually some squishing or some compression. So one way we can fix this here is to go to Edges and select this green edge here, which is our seam, and see if I can use a loop. Loop, where are you, loop? There's loop. Let's see what it did for us. It did some crazy stuff. Turned around here. So, what I'm going to want to do is deselect this. Now you're getting the long version, it looks like, on this tutorial. But you may not feel this to be a necessary step. That you may be happy with the way it looks so far, and that's up to you, obviously. Up to the individual. But I want this to be just a little more correct. I got an edge right here. Okay, so now I'm going to just go ahead and scale this edge. So get it tight here. Maybe I forgot something here too. No. Very good. Very good. All right. Still something looking funny to me. No. Okay. So I'll go back to scale and go here on the edge, and I'm going to hold Control and Shift, I think. Okay, I get confused between. Maybe it's Alt. Control Alt. That's the ticket. Alright, now we're enlarging everything all at once. Yeah, I'm just not liking the result. Not liking the result at all, and I'm just going to go ahead and grow each side then, a little bit by a little bit. This one. Raise this up. Do the same thing over these two corners. You can see over here on the model, you can see that that's now shrunk in. As I move this out, it's going to change the angle of those checkers. Okay, it's a little nicer. Now, a lot of times with a fuselage, you could You can just do half the fuselage and we could make some copies and everything would work out just terrific, but this fuselage has some asymmetrical properties, which one would be this hole here and the other would be this cutout for the exhaust. So I'm going to have to do both sides individually. Okay, so I'm going to shrink my window back down. I work on a 3-monitor setup normally, so trying to work on a single monitor is definitely awkward. Not anymore. Okay, grow that twice, just like we did on the other side, and more deselection. I could be all professional here and pause and come back when this is all done, but I don't know. I guess I'm just not going to do that. Okay, I've got extra stuff going on here. Let's take a little inspection, make sure everything's looking right. Okay, I believe that looks pretty good. So, back to this. Get this piece out. I'm going to make this piece lay right on top of this one here. And I'll mirror that. Mirror is right up here in the corner. You see that this is going to mirror vertically. If you long press, this one would be for mirroring horizontally. I'm sorry, this one's for horizontal, this one's vertical. So I'm going to mirror this horizontally, and that'll help me size it. So I'm already too big. Getting closer. Then you still need to grab that edge and swell that up too. Alright, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm just going to pull that off of there just for selection, the ease of selection. And zoom in, grab this edge, and loop. Loop it again. Hey, it did the same thing as the other one. Bravo. At least it's consistent. And I'll just select these around here myself. Now, not all of this model is going to go this slow. Alright, now let's go back to do the same thing that we discovered is the only thing that works. Move this in and out until we're happy. I'm just approximating what I did on the other one. Okay. Very, very good. Alright. So, that side went on a little faster. So, on to the next. Let's go to the top. Man, this window is so bugging me being in the way here. Just selecting away. Now, we have... I'll have to fix that. Get in there and fix that real quick. It's along the top edge. Luckily I'm going to get my selections back here. Just tilt this back just to straighten those guys up. Good enough. Let's take a look at the bottom. And the bottom looks pretty good. Okay, so if we go back to polys, we'll have back our original selection. Okay, so just want to grab all of the polys along the top that we didn't grab when we were doing our sides. And these are projections, so like I said, look, anything if you're looking straight down from the top, anything that you're looking at looks nice and even here. You're gonna want to just grab that. Excuse me. I think I will grab these two as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, I'm going to quick planar wrap that. I don't believe that's going to take much tweaking, if at all. At least I hope it won't. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to need to turn it. Okay, so now what I want to do here is, I've got polygons selected. I'm going to use this next button here that's select by element, and that's going to allow you to select anything that's already mapped together. And I want to leave that piece the way it is. I want this piece to be flipped vertically. Okay, I'm going to grab this piece here. I'm going to connect them up. Now, did I not grab the front? I could have sworn I had that selected. Let's turn off those edges there. I must have left that island behind. Let's see. Nope, it's selected. Let's try this again. Alright. Yep, that's definitely what happened. There we go. Few control Z's later and I'm back in business. Okay, so let's just scale that up. Use some landmarks here to make sure that we're lined up good and close. And that would be these edges. And lower this down. Just get them close. Alright. Now let's do the bottom. I bet you thought, hey, there's some secret, something that makes this really fast and easy for all the guys that know what they're doing. But, as far as I know, not really. I'm just going to go ahead and map most of this here. Again, grabbing these weird edges. Now you see I didn't select anything that's inside this curve, and this isn't selected obviously, so we'll quick planar that. Okay, now I can turn this 90 degrees very easily by this little button up here, rotate -90. This one will do it the other way. Same situation here. I'm going to span this up to be roughly the same size. Let's just lay it right on there. Okay. Alright, I'm going to grab this island here and pull it out. That would be the wing, what do you call it, the wing bed or something like that, I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab this front part and I'll quick planar map that. Now I'd love to show you how that face thing works, so let's see if it works on this. Go back to Tools, Relax, Relax by Face Angles. Very good, that worked perfectly. We just with the default settings, it worked just like charm. So now what I'm going to do is make this a permanent piece of this again. So I'll rotate that. I'm going to make this the same size. Okay, let's go back to verts. I'm going to select these. I've got select by element turned on. And weld selected there. Weld selected there. And what do you know? It doesn't want to do it. So, let's see. I'll go to preferences. It says turn this weld threshold to 10. Anything selected is going to weld up now. Let's see if we can get it to work. Weld that. Weld that. It's just going to be ornery, I guess. Okay, here's another little trick we can do. Go up here to display and show vertex connections. And just to select this. Well, that's the problem here. I have this piece here directly flipped the wrong way. So I want to just flip this way. Okay, and I will slide it in position just as before. Turn off the silent selection. Weld selected there. Weld selected there. Okay. Now that should be all mapped together seamlessly. That's this one piece underneath here. Alright, so let's start cleaning up the rest of this fuselage. And quick planar map. That's a nice flat piece. As soon as it's quick planar mapped, it's done. Although, still would like to match that up to this side. Matter of fact, we could just fuse it up. Why don't we just fuse that up? I'm going to select all of these verts first. And I'm going to use this little align vertical tool here. That's going to square them right up. And let's see if I can get a highlight. There we go. You'll see that when you select one vertex, the one that it belongs to will highlight with blue. It's not really easy to see, but it's there. So now we're gonna I'm just gonna fuse this and make this one piece just for simplicity's sake. You can see that seam just disappears as you weld, and you know you've got a single piece. Okay, so that's mapped. Now we've got this front area, got the inside of this circle. So let's select the inside of this circle. So I am going to select a single face in here, and I'm going to use the ring UV, and that'll select the entire thing. Now so far we've been using a single plane, or just a flat plane as a way to map. This time I'm going to slide down here to these other shape choices. Under projection, you can see we've got the planar map like we've been using, only it's a little quick tool. And we have cylindrical and spherical and box mapping. That changes the way that the map projection is organized. So you see with the cylindrical map, I get this weird cylinder here that pops up. And since the way that it's intersecting with my selected polys, it's never gonna look right. So what I'm first going to want to do is to align this to the X. And it is so out of shape, I'm going to reset the mapping gizmo. So now she's nice and circular, but oriented incorrectly. I'm going to align that shape to the X. Okay, I guess I'm just doing something wrong here. Let's fit it. Wow. Okay, best align? Nope. Alright, I'm just going to manipulate this gizmo all by itself. you notice you can manipulate it just like anything else. So if I have my snaps turned on, I'll be able to turn this 90 degrees. Very good. Now I want to center it, move that right up into the same area. Move that up. Okay, now let's scale it down. I don't know why this is being so difficult. It's just never like this. It's just all of a sudden very difficult while I'm trying to explain this to you here. But basically I'm just trying to align this gizmo with this circle. It's starting to come into view here. And you can see, if you're watching over in the actual edit window, you'll see what's actually happened. Oh, that's why that's happening. Awesome. Alright, so I'm going to have to deselect that cylindrical map. That's making a lot more sense why it wasn't working. You can't have anything selected but but that cylindrical shape there. Alright, that fit itself to it perfectly. Now you can see in here that I don't have squares, I have these rectangles. That's easily done by just pulling it on the X handle here. Stretch those out until they look square. And roughly square, that's good. Let's go see what's happened in here. Alright, we got this circle laid out nice and flat. Okay, so now we can't do anything to edit while we still have the projection on, so you want to deselect that. You can see that the mapping is still good. Now we'll just square this piece up. So let's square that up. See, I've never used straighten selection. Let's see if what that does. That worked perfect. You just highlight all the pieces. Let's Control Z that again. While we're in polygon mode, select this entire piece, and under reshape elements, since this is a nice rectangular even shape, we can just hit straighten selection, and that's going to square everything up. Not that that's a very important piece or anything, but you know, it's worth mapping, getting everything mapped out. I'll just find some place to tuck it in here to be with everything else. Okay, there's some other areas that haven't been mapped yet. I don't have this poly or this poly, which is easily just selected and put planar mapped. We'll get both of those at the same time. Now what we need to do is find out where they live here on the nose of either side. So I'm going to select just the one, and I know that this one belongs here, this one belongs here. I'm going to go into vertex selection, and I'm just going to highlight, and what do you know, lucky enough, that's going to line right up on that one. So what I'll do is put that right there on the corner, and grab the kitty corner side, and scale it down. Okay. Now just grab this side, weld, that side weld. Let's just repeat the process up here. Let's just to make sure and check. Nope, that's wrong. Okay, so let's turn this 180 degrees. There we go. That's got it. So I'm going to line that vertex up. Grab the kitty corner, scale it down. Weld selected. Okay, let's see what that looks like. You can see now it's been added to the side here. Okay, now let's select some other stuff. Again, I'm going to trade the window off. I don't realize how long I'm running, but it's just how long things take. So these two faces here are parallel. I'm gonna go ahead and grab both of those and quick plane of those together. You'll see that it'll set them roughly right where they're at, right together. That's good, but it's not complete yet. And let's grab these guys here. Quick planar map. That's going to go on this side. So let's separate this piece out from that little piece it was mapped with. And I know this goes here. I'm going to scale it down, holding control, keeping things uniformly scaled. Just keep on scaling. Okay. Grab these verts and weld these verts up. Not really sure there. Oh, there we go. Very good. So now, just like we did before, I'm going to grab this side here. Grab all these guys. Quick planar map. Bring it down to the other side. Line these corners up. Use the key corner, control, and scale. Excuse me. And weld them up. Okay, so now we have this whole piece that goes inside here where the engine goes. This is more likely, or not more than likely, I know for a fact it's all balsa wood. And we'll be able to lay that on there real nice. Okay, let's grab this little guy here. Quick planar that one. And we've already grabbed this other set, but by selecting by element we can grab that right out of there. Let's extract that out, and we'll put these all together. So this little piece goes out here on the end. Looks like it must go 90 degrees negative. And I'll put the same kind of angle in it here. Line that up. These are so far out of scale with one another, but soon they will be the same. These angles don't match exactly. That's fine. That's because I have my angle snaps on that work on your normal mapping or normal modeling. That works in your mapping as well. So it's a good thing to know. I've got the element selection on. Turn that off. Weld, come back, grab this other piece that belongs here. Now, how does that fit on there? This is the outside of the model. This is also the outside, so this has to be rotated positive degrees. Line that up, kitty corner, scale up, and weld these up. Very good. Alright. Now these pieces can be tucked away somewhere where they make sense to you. This is the notch that's cut out on the side of the fuse. This is the notch itself, so it's probably a good place to keep it. Same thing here. We can probably just lose some scale on this, just so that it has a nice little tight place to go. I've got a couple little tidbits here left to figure out, and they're floating right here. So in face mode, if we just select those, we'll quickly be shown where they're at. And what do you know? We're looking at stuff that's in the middle of the plane that you don't even need to worry about. And this happens when you model, you end up with these weird artifacts. So this one here is an important piece. We're going to want to grab that. So let's just grab that. It's just two polys here. Quick planar. Okay. I'm going to put this back here at the tail section, and let's just roughly size this here to the correct scale, and tuck it in out of the way. Alright, for this last piece that is somewhere in the center of the model, you can hit a quick planer if you'd like and like to see what it is. It's just a single triangle somewhere floating around. That once we lose this, we might be able to... Oh, okay, it's not a single triangle floating around. It is a triangle that has been forgotten right there. Okay. If I could zoom in on it, if it let me, I could see what it is exactly. Alright, got it. Let's just put it in place. Shrink it down, something that makes sense. Let's go ahead and go into vertices. Select a single one, see if that one's right. That one's right. Alright. Scale it in. You know what, let's use this one because we can use that same trick with the kitty corner. Scale it in. Let's weld that up. Okay. So now we have a tight little fuselage package here that we can scale down. It's all going to scale together since we've selected everything. Ooh. I'm not going to put it inside. I'm going to put it off to the side here and let's keep it out of the way. Let's take a look at what we got. Alright. Looks like we have a fuselage that's completely mapped. I think I'll make this one video and I'll do wings. I'll just break this up into different videos. So last thing to do here is to right click on your unwrap UVW in the stack, hit collapse all, yes, and you didn't do anything to harm it, you just locked in those UVs so they can't be affected, and our fuselage is mapped. One last little thing I'd like to mention is I like to create name selection sets. It makes it easier later to grab things that because they share attributes. So this is mapped. I'd like to go in here, just click on this ABC. I'm going to create a new set and call this mapped. And then with mapped highlighted and the fuselage selected, mapped highlighted, there you go. I'm going to add that to the selection. Okay. So what that did is, as I add more and more of the mapped objects as they're completed, I'll be able to hit this drop down menu and hit mapped, and it will select all of those objects. Alright, see you in the next one.